Welcome back to Metals, Money, and Markets. We're June 8th. As always, Mickey Fulp will break all this down. He's the Mercenary Geologist, and for MiningClips.com, I'm Rob Goodman. Okay, Mickey, the big boys are at the G7 here, and you've got a little pullback in oil, dollar off a little bit. Let's get into this here where the metals relatively flat this week on the precious side, at least gold.
Yeah, they were. Basically, the dollar went up and the dollar went down, and precious metals, for the most part, tracked that. Gold closed at $12.99, up 0.5%. Silver broke out a little bit. We talked last week about how range bound it is. It gained, 38 cents to close at $16.75 for well over a 2% gain. Platinum basically flat, $2 up at $9.05. Palladium had a pretty good week. It closed $9 up for almost percent gain at 10.07. The big winner was copper, and we saw strength in all the industrial metals this week. BDI was up, Baltic Dry Index. Copper surged and closed at 329. That's a year-to-date high, up over 5% over the week. It's a really good reason for that. There are anticipated labor problems. We knew this was coming this summer at Escondida, which is the world's largest copper mine. They have 7 weeks to solve this issue with 2,500 workers, or they go out on strike. And that caused a lot of turmoil, if you will, in the copper market, and it surged much higher. Contango end-of-year spread is about 6 cents. That's pretty big.
And then over to the energy markets. As mentioned, oil continues the slide.
Yeah, oil is basically, in my opinion, in a 2-week correction, plus or minus 10%, and it vacillates on either side of that. Closed the week at 65.67 for a 1.3% loss. U.S. production, once again, a record at 10.8 million barrels. U.S. rigs up 2. Shale patch continues to prosper, although it's getting to the point it's bottlenecking pretty hard in the Permian Basin. Oil went up, oil went down a bit this week. Basically, on news from OPEC versus production cuts by Venezuela, not at their own choice. And then some stuff came out midweek about the Saudis and the Americans colluding to push oil prices up to $100. That's probably correct. You know, we thought they were colluding when they took oil down 3.5 years ago to try to bust Iran and Syria. This time they're still trying to bust Iran. And finally, uranium had a very good week. Once again, up 20 to 23.50 for a 1.6% gain on more positive news coming out of the uranium patch. Kazakhstan, more cuts. There's a new physical uranium vehicle called Yellow Cake, which will be buying physical uranium from Kazatomprom, the Kazakh National Uranium Company, and increased hedge fund interest. So there's been some speculation that this looks like 2005 to 2007 when the uranium price spiked to $135 a pound. I think that's a bit optimistic at this stage, but at least we have some good news coming out of the uranium patch.
And meanwhile, in the currency markets here, dollar falls below 94, and the euro, pretty decent rally.
Yeah, the dollar's really stalled. It got above 95 and then it backed off. Basically, the euro is negatively tracking the dollar. You know, there's still lots of problems with European economies. The dollar closed at 93.57, down 0.7%. Euro closed at 118. Up 1%. Loonie was flat at 77.31.
Yeah, I'm heading over to these U.S. equities markets. Pretty good week here all across the board. 3 up days in a row in the NASDAQ, I think all-time high.
Yeah, I think all the markets are up 4 days actually, and then they backed off a bit today. A very strong week. Dow hit a 3 month high, closed the day at 25,317, up 2.8% on the week. S&P 500 a good week at 2778, 1.7%. As you mentioned, Nasdaq closed at an all-time high yesterday, backed off a bit today, closed at 7646 for a 1.3% gain. And the VIX is sinking lower and lower. Volatility index actually went below 12, finished today, I think about 12 and a half. So not much volatility in the markets.
And finishing up with the venture where it partook a little bit in this rally.
Yeah, I don't know if it really did or not, Rob. It gained back exactly what it lost last week, gained 9 points, closed at 775. Volumes remain low, up and down on a daily basis. Once again, not a lot to be interested in the nano cap sector at this point.
Okay, Mickey, we'll keep our eye on that G7, trade talks, and all that. And enjoy your weekend. Appreciate the insight as always.
All right, thanks a lot, Rob.